Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to Geek Talk Live. My name is Sabrina Lowry, and they call me the Tech Evangelist. We are live here today with another webisode to bring you all the knowledge that entrepreneurs need in order to be successful. I want today to be our kickoff for our celebrating Black History Month, and we are coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I want to make sure that that LinkedIn connection is going through for everyone. So let's just make sure everybody can see. Drop in the comments where you're tuning in from this evening. I want to make sure that everyone is able to see this broadcast. Please make sure that you tag a friend and tell a friend and let them know that the Geek Talk Show is live with Sabrina Lowry, the tech evangelist. And for those of you that have not been on our live stream before, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so thrilled to be connected with each and every one of you. And I want to also make sure that you are aware that we are here to support Black owned businesses all month long. And so, kicking off this month, and this week's featured special guest, who is near and dear to my heart, I want to make sure that you all are connected to this phenomenal woman. So let me go ahead and stop this ticker. I'm going to make sure that you all have exactly what you need in order to stay connected with us here at the Geek Talk Show, and that you make sure that you tell a friend and tag a friend that we are live here today. Hello, Kenya. Thank you so much for jumping on the live. And I want to make sure if you are coming in from Facebook that you give StreamYard permission to post your comments here and make sure that you are connected with me here today. So there we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Be sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. That is Sabrina Lowry, RE Tech. So you can catch the replay of this webisode of the Geek Talk. And lastly, I want to be sure that each and every one of you knows that you can find me across all social media platforms. That would be Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So I'm making sure if this connection is going well for everyone, you let me know the sound is good, the visuals are good, and we're going to just keep it moving today so that we can introduce our very special guest. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for me to bring a very special Black woman, Black business owner here in the metropolitan Atlanta, Georgia area, who is also a former mentor, but coaching client, who is a licensed real estate broker and an associate broker with Chapman Hall Realtors. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring to the virtual mic Nelldra Allen. Everyone, show your love. Nelldra, say hello to the audience.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. I hope
Let's
that
make
my
sure that we can
can you hear me?
go ahead, darling.
Oh, okay. I wasn't
Yes,
sure.
ma'am.
I hope that I'm not lagging. How does it look on your end, Sabrina? Am I good or am I lagging?
You are good at this moment. So why don't you just take this moment while we've got a fairly good connection, my dear? And I'm going to spotlight you for the people so you can tell the world what it is you do and who it is that you do it for.
Well, first of all, good evening. I'm so thankful for you all to be on here today. I'm thankful to have been invited here. My name is Nelldra Allen. I am a realtor, an associate broker, as Sabrina said, and really the introduction that she gave me made me feel so amazing. I didn't even know I was all that. But really I'm really thankful to be here. I sell houses. I help people buy houses. I run a nonprofit organization called Purposefully Covering the Gap that does help hopeful homeowners to gain educational experience as well as financial experience, well, financial help to purchase their houses. And I do all of this. I do all of this for to the glory of God, and that's my brand, and I'm sticking to it. So hopefully I can share something with you today that is meaningful and helpful for you in your walk as a business owner. Did you want me to say some more? You on mute, Sabrina. You're on mute, Sabrina.
There we go. Thank you so much for that, Neldra. I'm giving everyone on Instagram a little behind the scenes look at the technology that is happening so that we are using StreamYard today for our live stream. And so that allows us to cross pollinate across multiple platforms on social media while being live and keeping this recording so that we can repurpose this content. So we've got some comments here in the chat. Good evening, Arnie. Thank you so much for tuning in on YouTube this evening. So appreciate you. And thank you for tuning in to the Geek Talk. And I want to just give everyone an opportunity to learn a little bit about how Neldra and I actually became acquainted and connected through one of my real estate training classes. Neldra, tell everyone the beginning of your real estate journey and how important training and professional development has been in your walk with real estate.
So I do want to give a small backstory about how I became a realtor, and then I'll definitely talk about how the training and professional development brought me to Sabrina. So my husband and I were first-time homeowners when we were like 22 years old, and there came a point in time where we wanted to sell the house. Now, we didn't have a realtor, and so what we decided was that we wanted to sell, but we didn't know what we were doing, and we wanted to get a little bit more education. So my husband said, "Well, why don't you go sign up with that Groupon and take that class I saw on Groupon?" And I said, "Oh, okay," because at the time I was a stay-at-home mom. And when I signed up for the class, it was with Metro Brokers, and it was a course. I signed up for it and I didn't think anything of it, but then they called me into their corporate office and they called me in and I said, "Wow, this is pretty fancy for a class just to know a little bit more about real estate." And the lady, she says, "Well, why are you here?" I said, "Well, because my husband and I want to sell our house, and I wanted to get a little bit more information on the process." And she says, "Oh, honey, that's not what this is for." And I said, "Well, what is it for then?" And she said, "It's to become a real estate agent." And I said, "Well, I don't want to be a real estate agent. Can I get my money back?" And she said, "No, baby, you can't get your money back." I said, "Well, I guess I'm going to real estate school." And the rest is history. So here I am, and now I'm a real estate agent, right? So fast forward, I got my license and I signed up for this class. And I remember where I was sitting right in the front row to the right of the class. And Sabrina had on this really pretty black and white dress, and her energy filled the whole room. She was definitely going over GAR contracts and the changes of the GAR contracts. And as anybody knows, anytime you're reading a contract, contracts are boring. But you would have thought Sabrina was talking about, I don't know, like the constellation or something, because the whole class was glued on her. We were like, what is she talking about? This is so interesting. And so She called herself, I remember at that time, she said, "I'm the contract queen. And I know my contracts. And because I know my contracts, I am a jam up agent. And I know how to support, and I know how to negotiate, and I know how to deal with my clients." And I was listening so intently. I said, I want to be that agent. I want to be the agent that knows these contracts. So I continue to follow Sabrina like a low key stalker. And I just gleaned from her. And I wanted to be in her space because she gave a certain energy that was, um, it was giving. Like it was like you had the energy with you and you wanted to do something with it, right? So the professional development has been everything. And I know that I am the agent that I am now because of all of the different professional developments that I have. But also, when I can, I take a Sabrina Lowry class because I want it to be interesting and I want to make sure it's time well spent. So um, that's my Sabrina Nelldra story.
I love it. And thank you so much. Thank you for sharing with everyone your story, Neldra, because what I want everyone to know is everyone's backstory and that we all started somewhere with these real estate licenses, that we all learned somewhere because someone said, this is one of those businesses that you need a coach and a mentor, which can be one in the same individual or the multiples of individuals, right? That's helping coach you along the way. I think that is so important that you raise that point. So, why don't you tell everyone in your decision, because it was part of your plan, that you chose business coaching along with growing your brokerage? Because once you got your broker's license, you understood the ownership mentality. Tell everybody about that story.
It was a very easy decision to decide to get coaching. And once I left my, I call it my daddy brokerage because that was my first brokerage that I became a realtor, and also that's where I met Sabrina in trainings. When I left that brokerage, I knew I needed a coach, and I knew that it was important because, and I think this is an important piece that a lot of people skip because they don't see the value in it. I knew I needed a coach because being able to talk about, it's almost like a therapist for your business, right? So I knew that I needed to talk out my goals, talk out what I was currently doing, think about what I had done in the past as well, and how I was going to change things, right? And so once I have these conversations with Sabrina, she's my coach. She's who I chose to be my coach. I actually reached out to her and I was like, "Listen, I don't know if you do coaching, but if you do, I need to be one of the people that you coach. I need to have that because I needed to pick someone whose energy matched mine, whose foundational personality and beliefs also match mine. And somebody who was way higher in the, up on that ladder, that chain than I was, because I want to make sure that someone who is pushing me has already been through the things that I've been through, and also has the insight to help me through the places where I want to go. So I simply reached out to her, said I wanted to coach. And I know that it was important to me because I do have goals and I need to have accountability. And so that's one of the most important things about coaching for me is the accountability aspect, where I don't have to talk to you every day. I don't have to talk to you every week even. I just need to be able to say, this month, these are my goals, or this year, these are my goals. What do you think I need to do to get there? Some of the
That's
goals
right.
that I've achieved, I will say, Sabrina, you really were like, well, have you thought about doing this? And I'd say, no, why would I have thought about that? When, like, for example, when she was like, have you thought about getting your broker's license? And I said, no, why would I get my broker's license? I don't plan on opening a firm. And she was like, go and get your broker's license. And I was like, okay. She says, you have until October. And that is the type of energy that you need in a coach. You need someone who can push you to do those things, to do things that you had not even thought of because of her position and where she is. This type of coaching is essential to your business. I'm not saying somebody who's like, "Oh, why did you do that? What decisions are you making and how do you feel about that?" You need someone who will push you in the direction you want to go. That's what I got to say about that.
I love that so much, Neldra, because I was the same way. And it's not just in my real estate business. As you know, both of us are serial entrepreneurs, meaning we both own multiple businesses as a Black woman owned business. And I'll have you speak to the foundation in just a moment, but specifically on the real estate business side of it, let's talk about something because we've had some coaching sessions where you've been asking questions about, well, residential versus commercial business. Sabrina, do I have to pick a lane to stay in a lane, or how does that factor into one of your business decisions? Just talk through that because there are some agents watching our broadcast and our replay that are thinking the same thing as they are going along their journey in real estate.
Well, I do know we have had that conversation before, and one of the things that I know we walked away or I walked away with is, listen, whatever you do it well. Know what you're doing and don't represent anyone in a situation if you don't know what you're doing. So, if you are going to do residential real estate, then do residential real estate. If you're going to do commercial, then do commercial. If you're going to do both, then know both of those disciplines and know them well. Don't just dibble and dabble in one or the other and not be able to fully represent your clients, because at the end of the day, especially as realtors, we do have a fiduciary responsibility to take care of our clients. And if you don't really know what you're doing, how can you effectively take care of your clients? So basically, what I got out of that is, as for me, I thought about doing commercial real estate, but I also know the amount of work that I'm doing in residential. I know my goals and my niche and the specific things that I'm trying to accomplish with real estate. It's not just a job, it's a vehicle to accomplish something bigger. With knowing what I'm trying to do, it was not in my best interest to start a whole nother career and learning the ropes of commercial. But I do know there are some agents that do it, but really it's about what you can handle, what your workload can handle, and your goals and what you're trying to accomplish. That's what I would say to new agents.
That's awesome, Neldra. Thank you so much for just sharing your testimony. Truly, right? That's the whole honest way that some of us propel forward, and being able to be vulnerable in a coaching environment is where you truly will thrive when you are a business owner. And one of my favorite sayings that I heard from an athletic director once is that every coach has a coach. So even a coach has a coach, basically, right? And so that comes from me also investing in myself along my journey as a professional development coach, as a leadership coach in 2020. Because of my intention and the design of my business, the strategy was I need to be certified in coaching and leadership and women's entrepreneurship, and chose Cornell University so that I could get those credentials. Same to your point, Sabrina. I wasn't thinking about being a broker, let alone a brokerage owner. And here the little push and that accountability and that gentle nudge was like, but you
Right.
too can be a broker. And what do you think about that? Yeah?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. It's like it makes me think about the year that I took off from coaching. I was like, okay, well, money is tight. Let me just see what I can do without coaching. I got this. I know I'm gonna be able to get it done. And I feel like that ended up being my restful year. I ended up resting. I ended up being a little I felt like I hit a plateau. And so when I went back to reevaluate, well, where do I want, because I do this at the end of every year, where do I want my money to go for my business? Because as a business owner, there are expenses to running a business. And I had to ask myself, how successful do I want my business to be this year? And looking at how successful I wanted it to be, where I wanted to take it, if I wanted to take it to the next level or if I wanted it to continue in the plateau. Then I said, okay, I looked over my finances and my budget and I said, coaching is something that I want to put back in my budget for 2023 because the previous year it was just even kill. I had goals. I wrote
Yeah.
those goals down, but I did not do any of my outside goals. I didn't actually, I didn't meet anything that I had planned on meeting, but it's that accountability, it's that follow up, it's the did you do what you said you were going to do whole thing. And it's just important. It's just like having a personal trainer or
Yes,
having a
it
gym
is.
membership. It's like if you don't have a gym membership or a personal trainer, sometimes you just ain't gonna go. And well, that's just me. Maybe that's just me. I have to have my personal trainer on deck to work out because otherwise I'm like, I ain't doing it. Again, I ain't doing
Yes.
it.
Yes. Excuse me. So I want to segue now into how 2023 and 2024 are being up for you as an expanding Black owned business. I want you to talk about your passion project that has now turned into your very own nonprofit, Nelldra. Tell
Oh my
everyone,
goodness.
please.
I tell you, y'all, God is so good. And I know I don't have to tell you that, but God is so good. First of all, it is only February and I've already closed. I already have lined up to close more houses just this month than I did my entire first year as a real estate agent. God is so good. I really cannot even believe how this year has taken off. Um, it really is amazing. But what happens is and hmm, so a couple of years ago, my husband and I, well, this is not even a couple of years ago, but my husband and I have always been strong givers in our community, in our church. We give time, we give talents, and we give treasure. So we give money as well. And we were just giving money, not just giving money away, but people were in need, and we would give them money. We always would have it set aside. You know how sometimes people tithe in the collection plate, and whatnot. Well, we were tithing in the collection plate, but also we were putting money aside for people in need. And over time, our CPA would say, Nellie and BJ, where's that money going? There's a chunk of money missing from your taxes. Where did it go? And we would say, oh, we gave that away. What do you mean you gave it away? Well, people were in need, so we gave it away. And he would say, well, that's a big chunk of money to just be giving away and have no record of it because it looks like to Uncle Sam that you just spent it. And we would say, oh, it doesn't matter. Let Uncle Sam think whatever he wants to think about it. We don't want this to be an outward thing. We don't want, sometimes we would give anonymously to people and we didn't want people to know um that we were doing this. But over time he kept saying, well, Nelly, BJ, y'all might want to start a nonprofit. You might want to start a nonprofit. And one day I talked to Sabrina about it. I said, "Yeah, so this is what we're doing." And my CPA keeps saying start a nonprofit. And I'm like, ain't nobody got time for that. What is this nonprofit mess? And Sabrina said, "Nelldra, you need to start a nonprofit. The way that this is going, you would only benefit to start this nonprofit." And so then she gave me a phone number and an email and a contact here and a contact there. And I did some training and I got in touch with some people. And long story short, here we are today. So as of now, I am the president of our nonprofit. It's called Purposefully Covering the Gap. I know it's a mouthful. Purposefully Covering the Gap. Covering the Gap was already taken. So we ended up putting purposefully in front of it because we intentionally, it was longer than purposefully. At least it felt like it in the mouth. So we ended up deciding to go with purposefully covering the gap. It is an intentional thing that we do. We are intentionally providing education to people who don't have that education about buying homes. And this is our nonprofit specifically targets the Black and Brown community. A lot of times you hear of people having what do they call that when you pass down generational wealth.
Inheritance.
Yes, inheritance
Mhm.
and generational wealth. And so we hear of this generational wealth, but generational wealth is not just financial wealth. This generational wealth is also educational wealth. It's the wealth of knowledge. And a lot of times, which I'm not going to get into because I could talk forever about it, but Black people have been disenfranchised in the United States of America when it comes to purchasing houses. And anybody who does the research will find that it wasn't just individual people, but it was a nationwide initiative, even within the government, that things were happening and allowed to happen to Black people that caused them to be disenfranchised and completely afraid to purchase houses. So when they became afraid to purchase houses and the vast majority of us moved to cities, purchasing a house became something of like a myth or a mystery to African Americans. But the knowledge of how things have changed since then and how you can purchase a house needs to be passed down to people. So I consider our nonprofit as like the parents, the grandparents, the aunties and uncles, the people who have the knowledge, who have been through this, to pass it down to other people. Likewise, as well as the educational wealth that our nonprofit brings, we are the mom and dad who might have a little bit of money in their pocket. So, for example, a lot of times I hear as a realtor, when we're getting close to the closing table, a lender may say, "Well, you don't have enough money, but if you have only $2,000 or $3,000, you would be able to get to the closing. Why don't you go ask your mom and your dad? Why don't you go ask a relative?" Who? Who's going to ask a relative? Which relative? Which relative am I going to ask? So, a lot of times in the Black community, these goals are just in reach. But then you have to go and ask family members for thousands of dollars, where you may be the first person to ever buy a house ever in your family. They don't have it. So I look at our nonprofit as the mom and dad who is going to be able to reach into their pocket and give a little bit of money. So far right now, to the glory of God, and I am so thankful, and I keep saying it, you'll keep hearing me say it. All of the funds at this point have only come from, or mostly come from, myself and my husband as we tithe into it and we're able to bless people. But we are hopeful that this year we're going to expand that, expanding our territory, helping other people, more and more people who are trying to purchase their homes, pay for inspections, pay for appraisals if possible, pray, contribute contributing to closing costs. And I say contributing because we do want our applicants and our recipients of our grant to bring something to the table. In fact, we want them to bring the vast majority of it to the table so that we can be able to spread our grants out. So if they can't go to their mom and dad and say, "Hey, I need $3,000," perhaps they can come to us. We do have stipulations. You do need to be a first-time home buyer. You do have to be purchasing a house under $400,000. And you have to have the majority of your money. Now, how will we know that? Because you, as a recipient, or whoever is the recipient, they do have to let us be in direct communication with their lender, so the lender can say, "Listen, we verified their assets, and they need $1,500. I'm not letting Sally, Joe, and Mo say, 'I need $1,500. Come and give it to me.'" Mm-mm. Mm-mm. We need to talk directly to the lender. And the only reason for that is we want to be able to bless as many people as possible. And we don't want, just to give money away to any old body. Um, I hope that didn't sound pretentious. But anyhow, but yeah, so that's what we do. And we are at www.pc, hold on, purposely, yeah, pctgap.org. pctgap.org. And that's where we take our donations. And so if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you can see the recipients. You can see the gift giving and the donating and the blessing and helping people to realize these dreams. And it's amazing. This is my joy. I thought real estate was my thing, but this nonprofit, being able to help people get to that closing table and helping them to get those keys in their hand where otherwise they would not have been able to, this is my joy. And
That's
so
awesome.
come and get this joy with me. Yes.
Yes, 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 everybody. We have ourselves a realtor extraordinaire live with us here at the Geek Talk Show, where we are giving entrepreneurs expert knowledge. Sometimes learning from someone else's journey is all the lesson another person needs. And I am a witness and a testament to that. How sometimes you can save somebody, from a failure or something that you were unsuccessful or successful with by just simply sharing your story. And storytelling is one of my favorite things to do. Thank you so much, Nelldra. Tell everyone one more time how they can connect with you. I did post the link for the donations to be sent. It will be in the recording. And so just tell everyone, and I'll post that while you're talking.
Okay. So the best way to connect with me, I say, is through Facebook. I I'm saying that, but sometimes I be on Facebook, sometimes I don't. But if you ever message me on Facebook, I definitely can reach you back there. My Facebook, to find me on Facebook, just use my name. Just literally search Nelldra Allen, and two pages will come up. And you have to spell it Nelldra with two L's, Allen with two L's. That's how you'll find me. But also, my website is www.neldraallenrealtor.com. It's already posted right there at the bottom. That's a really good way to contact me. There is contact Nelldra forms in there. Whatever you need. You could also follow me on Instagram. Again, it's Nelldra Allen. See, because my name is Nelldra and it's not a very common name. And so it makes it easy to find me if I just use my name. But definitely connect with me. I listen, not don't just connect with me to give the donations, but you might have or know someone who needs just a little bit to get by. Almost enough. You need to send them my way. Send them our way. And the applicants do have to go through an application process. Every single application does have to be approved by the board, and the amount has to be approved by the board. But yeah, definitely connect with me, and I would be more than happy to be a part of your transaction. You on mute, Sabrina.
I knew that. Thank you. I'm so glad everybody is here with us today. I was just typing into the chat the correct Instagram, and it actually is Nelldra Allen underscore realtor. So I am posting that correct link for your Instagram, Nelldra Allen underscore realtor on Instagram. Okay, because I want people to have the contact information. It's there in the chat. Hello, Nicole. Thank you so much for tuning in to the live stream today. I want to make sure that everyone knows that our live streamers are greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Geek Talk Show. And here is Neldra's Instagram. I want everyone to make sure that you are connected to this phenomenal woman in business, as we are so excited to share and spotlight this woman for Black history. Why? Because she is truly doing what it is that our ancestors made sure that we were set up for success. One of my favorite things that Neldra and I talk about all the time is the inheritance. I'm going to post that again, and wealth building, right? So that was one of the comments earlier. Here it is right here: generational wealth and the inheritance. And we talk about that because people really need to see, what is that? What does that mean by design? What does that mean that I'm setting up a business for an inheritance that my children's children can actually build and have wealth, because you set it up by design that way from the very beginning. Right, Neldra?
Absolutely. And I do it
Yeah.
right now with my own children, setting them up. I honestly am getting so much information so that they can have it from the at the ground level, so that they know it. Like my kids are 10 and 10 and under, and all of them know real estate jargon. All of them know real estate lingo. They're going to know how to get rich or be wealthy, at least by tapping into real estate, because everywhere you live, everywhere in the world, people have to have a house. And so if you know how to use that commodity to your benefit, then you will be able to definitely have a part of that, as they call it, American pie, or American dream. I said American pie.
Ha!
Like the movie.
Ha! I had to laugh at that one out loud. That is hilarious. Now I'm gonna make sure that we retract the American pie, because that is sure enough funny. All right, everybody, we are leaving the correct and proper inheritance, not the American pie style. Okay, so
American dream.
I just think that is so funny, Neldra.
Yeah.
We're gonna make sure we clarify that thought. Let's take two. Neldra, the floor is yours.
So, oh, perfect. Okay. So all I'm saying is I absolutely believe that children have to know, these things. I have kids who are 10 and under, and they know real estate jargon. They know real estate lingo, and we want them to be able to have a part of this American dream, because at the end of the day, if you know how to use real estate, which is a commodity, to your advantage, if you know how to use real estate, passing it back and forth, purchasing and selling, leasing, renting, buying, refinancing, all of those things. If you know how to do that, then you can have a part of what we call the American dream, which is, the dream of maybe being debt free, maybe retiring early, whatever it is. Know how to use your resources that are around you, and I'm gathering so much information just so that I could be able to give that to my kids, because I want them to be able to have it at the ground level. Foundationally, I want them to be able to have it, and then they'll have friends that they'll be able to teach about it, because for them it'll be like second nature. For me, I'm learning all of this. I bought my first house when I was 22, 21 or 22, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that it was a good thing. Now I know way more about it, and every day I'm learning so that I can teach somebody else. Yeah, that was better.
There you have it. Words of wisdom, honey. I
Yeah.
love it. Thank you so, so much, Nelldra. Thank you for your time. Thank you for just giving yourself grace. Sometimes things don't happen exactly the way that we want them to, but by God's timing and design, as you know, we trust Him quite often in our coaching relationship. And so
Amen.
sometimes it does. We put the work in, we know thing that is orchestrated will happen the way it's supposed to, right?
Right.
So I'm excited.
Absolutely.
I'm excited for the foundation. I was so glad to meet baby girl today with her precious self. That was such an awesome reunion for us. And so I thank you again for just all of your time today. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for enlightening our audience. I hope everyone has enjoyed just learning a little bit about this phenomenal Black woman. It is Black History Month, and I am celebrating all month long. And it is absolutely intended that these live streams are to encourage you, inspire you, motivate you. Hey, you might even get a little nugget or two along the way. So if you tag into a little moment of it and it just seems a little dry, just skip forward. That's why you got fast forward and rewind. But I do
Right.
want you to tag a friend and tell a friend about the Geek Talk. We go live on Mondays and we are talking about things that entrepreneurs need in leadership and professional development and business ownership and foundations and grants. And listen, Nelldra started an entire nonprofit in the COVID pandemic, y'all, with still a heart of service because truly she is an just an awesome servant leader. I'm proud to know
Oh,
you. Thank you so much for everything that you
thank
do for
you.
the community.
That's so sweet. Thank you. Absolutely.
All
I'll
right,
keep doing.
everyone. Keep it up, girl. Keep up the good work, okay? Hold tight for me, if you will. I will close out the show and make sure that everyone knows how to find us for the next webisode. All right, everyone. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to another webisode of the Geek Show. I want you to be sure that you catch another episode that you like, that you tell me what topics or who you want to see. Hey, if you even want to be one of my featured spotlighted guests here, I will be glad to chat it up with you, learn a little bit more about your thriving business and how you help people. So, ladies and gentlemen, be sure that you follow my YouTube page. Make sure you go and subscribe. And as always, that you know that you can get access for free to the Geek Tank Academy. That is for free at geektankacademy.com. But in the meantime and in between time, please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube. That would mean the most to me so that I can continue to bring you great content information and some upcoming events that you don't want to miss out on. Be sure that you follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You will be able to watch this replay, still post your comments. Nelldra and I will definitely make sure that we respond, even if you happen to comment on the replay. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sabrina Lowry. I am so thankful for you and your time today. I would like to welcome you to come back for another episode of the Geek Talk, where we give entrepreneurs expert knowledge. Take care.